Just finishing my Instagram story and it's done. It's a Sunday. I'm working a little slower today. Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. This is the auction special. Worked long and hard at coming up with that name. We had a big word cloud. We thought, what are the two most important things about this? Auction and special. And we put them together to make Cricbuzz Live auction special. And I'll tell you why it becomes special. Not because of me, not because of me, Gaurav Kapur. I'll just tell you my name just in case you're seeing me for the first time. I am new at this. It becomes special because of my two very dear friends, Joy Bhattacharjya, who has made the long trek from Gurgaon. He first head off in the wrong direction. He reached Jaipur because he couldn't see where he was going.
Yeah, and I had to have this thing.
He had a mask, so nobody could recognize him. It was not matching with his ID. They thought that he's Bane from Batman Returns. Well, then they figured out who he is and they let him here. So, and the person who had an easier journey from Mumbai to Perth and is working the double shift today, the graveyard shift, because it's going to go late into the night, Mr. Harsha Bhogle. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. I'm seeing the unexpected today after 150 all out, after 3-0 India versus New Zealand. I am in Perth watching India almost sure to win a test match. So it started very well. I don't care if I'm tired. I'm looking forward to this auction.
It is. It's going to be a big auction, long auction. Well, I think that just before we start, I just want to say that our dear friend Vivek Razdan coined Gaba Ka Ghamand after India won at Gabba. I, for Perth, want to call it Perth Ka Anarth. What do you think about it?
Are you the guy who designed the new Jaguar rebrand?
Yeah?
The new Jaguar rebrand. I'm the auction special name. You're the guy, right?
That's right.
I knew
the creative powerhouse. That is the house of GK.
But look at the bright side. At least whatever else has not happened, we've been retained.
Puja.
What? Perth Puja?
Perth Puja ji. Kisko laga tha yahan Perth mein aake jeetenge? I'm speaking, sir, I'm coming to Perth and I'm speaking Hindi, Punjabi, Telugu, Kannada, everything except English.
That is true, though. It is. It's quite close to Singapore. It's actually the closest city to India as well. Closest Australian city to India. Just a 2.5 hour difference. So I'm glad that this is not happening in Melbourne because otherwise it would have gone on to tomorrow's breakfast for Harsha. So it won't. But I tell you what. Some of the teams are going to enjoy the buffet and some are going to make a meal out of it because that's what happens in all these grand auctions. The dynamics, Joy, you've spent obviously many years being in the table, the mock auctions, etc. This big auction somehow, just for us when we're reading the list of people, we're reading the rules, sitting on the outside with no skin in the game, it's just so overwhelming. I can't even imagine what it must be like for the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of these guys now have spent about 3.5 months planning.
Yeah.
So I know at least one team has done 17 mock auctions. 17 mock. It still may not, it still may not give them the numbers and the conclusion they're hoping for. But that's the kind of numbers that now go into it. And I just think about it when, the first auction that we sat in 2008, literally 5 days before people started looking at lists, the night before that first auction, we were in Shah Rukh Khan's house with Saurav Ganguly in a pall of smoke, all of us, Andrew and Adrian going, their eyes watering, trying to figure out who we should take,
Yeah.
But so much has changed and I think the scale of it is now a totally different scale, 17, 18 years down the road. And a big auction has much more to it because the number of variables have increased so much. Small auction, you have 5, 10, 15 players in the mix. The rest of it doesn't matter. Yeah. Big auction, you have 45, 50 top players in the mix.
Yeah, and you need so many boxes to be ticked. The smoke that he's talking about, they were in Shah Rukh's Gurgaon house, and that's why it was like that. But that's why. No other reason. But Harsha, you were part of MI in the first year as well. Much different from what it was there, because I know that you intellectual, you've written many reports, white papers, etc. For me, looking at all the auction dynamics, players, rules, etc., it just feels so overwhelming. Like it's almost like you go to a buffet and there's 500 dishes and you don't know where to start almost.
I'll tell you how different it is. Take a look at how you looked in 2008 and how you look now. That skinny fellow and this suave, sophisticated gentleman of the world.
Thank you.
That's how the IPL has changed between 2008 and now. But one thing hasn't changed, GK. One thing hasn't changed. How gently, subtly Joy says, and when we were in Shah Rukh's house with Saurav, that hasn't changed, mate.
Yeah. He's such a name dropper. NCR, na? NCR written all over him. Delhi boy. He's forgotten his Kolkata roots. Such a name dropper. All right. Well, if he can talk big names, I can talk big money. Apna to hai nahi. Right. This is the kind of shopping that some of these teams are going to be doing today. Of course, from the purse available, the teams that have retained the fewest players have the most money, obviously. You have Punjab coming in with 3 figures. That's a good day, huh? You go to Saudi Arabia, 110 crores in your pocket. They're going to be doing a lot of shopping, obviously, not just because of the money they have, but also because they've retained the least number of players. But they have retained the most number of players for them, because they've only ever retained 2 players in any auction cycle. So yeah, they end up taking new directions every time. Bangalore's retained 3 players, but out of those 3, one, of course, is the king, Virat Kohli. And why would they not retain him? It's not just his game, it's what he means to the franchise. Sometimes some players, they just go beyond their numbers for a franchise. Rohit Sharma, for example, Mumbai, MS for Chennai, and Virat, of course, for Bangalore. Then Delhi, who've not retained their captain. So no Rishabh Pant. There is Akshar Patel there as their top retention, who may just be their captaincy candidate, but they don't have a captain yet. Lucknow doesn't have a captain as well, but they've retained 5 players. They retained Quicks in Mohsin and Mayank. You can tell that Zahir Khan's influence is all over that shop. Gujarat, of course, has their captain, and they've got a gun player in Rashid as well. Chennai has an uncapped player. Don't know if you've heard about him or not. He's really coming up on the circuit, MS Dhoni. But yeah, as you go down that list, and I'll just go down to the last because I didn't read all the numbers. Yeah, just go. The least, of course, is Rajasthan with 41 crores. So I think, Joy, the last 5 are going to make a very interesting tussle because they have kind of similar kind of money. So you may see them reaching some threshold and dropping out. Now, intuitively, you think that, right? But now you look at the previous auction. A team with 28 crores goes up to 24 crores for one player.
Exactly.
Right? So can you make any sense out of any of those things? Or are these just so many variables?
Actually, if you put that up, I just want to say one thing. If you look at those last 4 teams, the teams with the least money out there, just remember the only one of them who doesn't have a fixed captain is Kolkata. So Kolkata has to somewhere break the bank on somebody because neither Andre Russell, their top retentions, neither of them are natural captains. I mean, neither Russell nor Narayan, nor do they want it, nor do they want those West Indian guys to worry about captaincy. They want them to do their thing. So the point is, even though they have a little more money than Rajasthan and all, they will have to spend some amount of money in getting at least a captaincy material player.
But Harsha, they could go left field, right? They have done left field with captaincy before as well.
They could, because if you look at their retentions, Varun Chakravarti, no, you want to leave him alone to bowl, right? He's an architect. He studies angles and deliveries. You don't want him to be captain. Sunil Narayan, you'd have to get 4 words out of him if he was captain, so you can't have him. Andre Russell's knee, you don't know what's going to happen there. Harshit Rana comes from close to where Joy lives, so you don't want captain from there. and Ramandeep Singh, uncapped player. Rinku Singh, I don't know. They had Nitish Rana earlier as captain for a while, so they might buy Nitish Rana back, or they might just go into the market, pick a side, and say, okay, there's a captain here. Look who are the captains in the high profile captains in the auction. There's 2, one that they've let go, and one that the whole world is after.
Yep. Talking about Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul could be captaincy material as well. He has captained Lucknow, so there's 3 solid.
He said he wants to go to Bangalore.
Well, but that's the thing, right? Okay, so here's another thing that comes into play. There are players who want to go to certain teams and certain teams who want certain players, but that's not how it works, right, Joy?
Exactly. And a lot of them have had conversations. So what you do basically is that it happens. So you can't affect the auction, but you go and tell a player, look, we are going to go for you up to a certain price. And that's good for a player also, because so then what happens is the player also gets a certain frame of mind, and before that, if by chance then everything happens and works together, then it really works well. Because, then player is already in his head knowing that, okay, I'm going to go there. He's already started thinking about reserves. Well, who else can I take? So I think that's the thing with captaincy. And I think definitely Bangalore would have had that conversation. Punjab would have had conversation with somebody. I don't know which one of the, picks they would have a conversation.
I'll tell you why we're saying that. Because we know the fact that Ricky Ponting and Shreyas Iyer, that was a relationship that worked really well a few years back in Delhi. I know the IPL comes fast and furious, so sometimes you forget. But Shreyas was the captain when the turnaround happened, when the split ownership happened. JSW came and they got the rebrand to Delhi Capitals. At that time, he took them to a final, and Ricky Ponting was there. They have a good relationship. That's my gut instinct that they will go after him. But I just want to ask Harsha about this. Just like a player can say, "Oh, I want to go to you," and a team can tell a player, "We would go for you." I feel like all this are these moot points because it doesn't matter, right? I can say anything to you, and it doesn't matter because some team may have more money and may want you worse. Can a player actually tell a team, "Bhaiya, mere ko chhod do is bari"? Can there be a soft discussion?
The most delicious thing.
Yeah.
That is the most delicious thing. And guess who came up with that idea first? It's got to be somebody from left field. At the moment, GK, there's you, there's me, and there's a third guy in the studio. Only he could have come up with this thought. Each player is allowed one franchise he doesn't want to play for.
Yeah.
That would be very tricky and very embarrassing. But you can have discussions with players. Say Bengal, say KL Rahul. Now KL Rahul's there's going to be no right to match card for KL Rahul because I think he's not going back to Lucknow. Yeah. But with this new right to match thing, you can say, yeah, if the bidding stops at 12, I'll go up to 20. Let them pay 20 for you. If they do good on you, go and buy yourself another fancy car and yacht. Otherwise, I've got you.
Yeah. That's the difference, right, Joy, in this time's RTM card?
Yeah, exactly. Because you can make that last big bid. And I think it's a fairer system. Let me explain to you why. Suppose before this, what happens in an auction? Two people keep going until one says the price is too much, and therefore a price is established where only one guy is there. The problem with the right to match means that at that point in time, you have one other guy coming in and saying that I'll buy at the same price. But wait a minute. Still you have two people interested in him. Till you have two people interested in somebody, the bid must go on till there's only one person left.
Yeah.
So which is why they've added this extra wrinkle saying, okay, you now have the chance to put one last number on the table and say, okay, this is my number. Now if you match that, take him. So it's like a right to first refusal, you know.
Yeah, it's great because it's ultimately anything that benefits the player. I feel like the whole world is on the same page about that. Yeah, there's 10 people with checkbooks who are sitting in Jeddah right now who might not agree with this rule saying we have to spend more money. But I think everybody else in the sporting world, the players, all of us, we all feel, the fans as well, that, well, players are the ones that the league is built on. They're the ones who are giving you all that entertainment, the excitement, the action. And why not let them make more money? So, yeah, I think this rule works for them. The big players, the marquee players, right? Those are the ones that will go under the hammer. The first in Jeddah when the auction starts in a few minutes from now. This is set one, which has, oh my God, I'm looking at, okay, Joy, here's my prediction, all right? I'm looking at 74 crores. Nah, that's too little. I'm looking at 92 crores being spent on this set. Total it up. Come on.
I was just going to go for 90. Because
90?
I was looking at the number 96 people, 15, 6 and 90. Average of 6, 15 will be over. I would actually go above 90. You're right. Let me go 95.
95. Harsha, are you going 100 plus? Because there's Joss Butler, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Kagiso Rabada, Arshdeep Singh and Mitchell Starc.
I think the two biggest among those are going to be Rishabh Pant and Arshdeep Singh.
Nice.
Because don't forget, quick bowler, left-hander, bowls at the start, bowls at the death.
Indian.
Has more wickets than anybody else in T20 eyes for India. Is second to the mighty evergreen Piyush Chawla in wickets taken for Punjab Kings. So I think he's a big buy. Joss Butler is the interesting one because they've got to buy him back in the auction, right?
Yes.
What's the RTM that Rajasthan Royals have? I don't think they can get.
They don't have RTM.
They don't have an RTM for him.
They don't have an RTM.
No, they don't have an RTM. So they've got to buy him back. I won't be surprised. There's a little whisper going around with the wind coming in from India to Perth that Mumbai Indians might be interested in Joss Butler. But let's say 20 for Rishabh, 18, 19 for Arshdeep. We're looking at 37, 38. Butler, another 8 or 9. I don't see it going more than 8 or 9 for Butler. So about 48. Shreyas Iyer, another 12, 60. I'm actually going about 85 crores. Sort of middle class.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually thought he was landing close to 70 when he was doing the math.
I've actually been looking at the properties in DLF nowadays and the way they're going up and I can't go below 90.
बात तो सर 100 से भी नहीं कम. 95 में कुछ ठीक ठाक मिल जाएगा. You may get something decent in 95.
Of course, sea-facing apartments, right? When it rains, they become sea-facing apartments.
Yeah, lakefront. Lakefront.
Between the two of you, you've just taken about 3,000 crores of the Gurgaon reality table.
But I shouldn't do that because
my friend works for DLF.
My home address is still Gurgaon from the time that I was a teenager. So I'm allowed to diss. Joy lives there, so he's allowed to diss. This Mr. Bhogle from Hyderabad, I tell you, he's coming to our Gurgaon and giving bad name. This is not right, sir. This is not right. Sir, I will be asking you if you are knowing my father's name. Okay? In 5 minutes, I will be asking you.
Look, I think I know your father's name. He is Mr. Kapur.
That is correct, sir. That is absolutely correct. He is sitting at home right now watching this because he is our number one. He's our super fan. He watches the show. When the three of us are on it, he's the one who really watches it. My mom doesn't. She doesn't care enough about it.
I thought it was your nephew.
My dad does. What?
I thought it was your nephew.
No, my nephew's in Jim Corbett on a school trip, so he doesn't care. He's looking at lions. No, us barking here, yeah? No dogs in Jim Corbett. Second set. Well, there's a lot of big money that will be dropped there as well. Yep. Right now, these are our predictions that have come on. All right, let's look at our predictions. I've got Rishabh Pant, Harsha's got Rishabh Pant, Joy's got Shreyas Iyer. Highest paid option 2. I've got Shreyas Iyer, Harsha's got Arshdeep, you've got Rishabh Pant. Excellent. All three have gone British. Gone rather British here.
I say old boys.
Joy's got the butler, I've got the salt, and Harsha's got the archer. Excellent. Will Starks be breached? I feel it might just by a smidge. Harsha thinks no. We're thinking the highest bid, both Harsha and me think RCB, and Joy thinks it's Lucknow. My prediction is Shreyas Iyer to Punjab. Harsha is saying Pant to RCB, and Joy is saying De Kock to MI. Interesting. I'll tell you why I'm thinking Salt. Butler, I think Butler is one of the best T20 players ever to play the game. I feel he's going to be 35 by the time the next one starts. You're looking at 3 years. So maybe with that horizon, that's why I went.
Interesting.
I went for Salt. And also, when England's been playing, Salt's been keeping actually more than Butler has. So that's why. That's the reason why I went for that.
No, I think Salt is also a really good pick. I just think if you're looking at somebody who's captaincy material, plus given the fact that there are at least 4 teams looking at captains, I'm saying whoever's looking at Butler is looking not just as player.
Good point.
Is looking at player plus captain. Other than MI, of course, who'd we love to have somebody then the top order who could really talk.
MI's got enough captains.
But do they have? Yeah. Perhaps too many.
You look at MI. Yeah, you look at MI. Who's captain of India overall till recently? Rohit Sharma. Who's captain in Rohit Sharma's absence? Jasprit Bumrah. Who's captain of the T20 side? Surya Kumar Yadav. Who's captain of Mumbai Indians? Hardik Pandya.
But they've got enough captains. No problem.
They don't need another captain.
Kolkata's looking at their retentions. Because Kolkata's got solid retentions, right? Love their retentions because they've got 3 all-rounders, 2 world-class established ones out of that, 1 new. And they've got a gun bowler in Varun. They've got a gun bowler in Harshit Rana. And they've got a gun finisher in Rinku Singh. So they've got great, but again, they've not got captains. MI's got gun players as well, and they've got like multiple captaincy choices there amongst them. Okay, so that's our list. What we'll do is we have time, so we're going to quickly run through each team and see what they need. We'll start with Punjab because the highest purse available for them. What do they need? Everything. Pretty much.
Yeah,
it's true, right?
Pretty much
Absolutely. Just go into a supermarket with the entire family and say, "Bete, jo bhi chahe le lo, yahan pe paise mere paas hai."
Whatever you
But
want.
it's large-hearted Punjabis. Every time they have the most money in the auction. And to be honest with you, it's not that they've had bad auctions.
Yeah.
If you look at last time, you had people like Karan, you had Rabada, you had Livingston. You had quite a few really, really good players. It's just that Arshdeep, you had fantastic teams. Somehow that mix has never got together and delivered anything.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I have heard from most of it is that Mumbai, the Punjab establishment is a lot like a 1980s Hindi film. In the sense that in an 80s Hindi film, the most important job was to get the hero and heroine on set. Once you get them, kuch bhi scene ek likh lo, kuch bhi shoot kar.
Yeah.
similarly here, I think managing the conflicting ownership is so much of a thing that the coach is spending so much of his time doing that actually focusing on the game and getting continuity is something they haven't.
You know, we talk about it sometimes
So in
a joking manner, but I think
Who's the hero?
it's a
Heroine is
valid
there.
point. Sorry, Harsha?
I said heroine is there. Who's the hero?
Well, you have a choice.
There's a few. And they've had a few because in their coaches and captains, they've had a lot of big names, marquee names that have come and gone. We always talk about how their captains themselves can make an all-star 11.
Absolutely.
Their coaches can make an all-star 11. So, and it happens. I think we hear that a lot about Delhi as well. Whenever you have split ownership, and I think that's something every person who has worked in who's done any job, right? You realize whenever the ownership or the management gets split, you're bound to have contrasting thoughts and those will clash, and especially when the stakes are so high as this is. So that is bound to happen. Maybe that's the reason. Can they sort that out? I think that their move of getting Ricky Ponting this time there, Joy, I think it's been quite a solid move. It's been quite a coup, actually.
Absolutely. You see, I think Trevor's done his thing. I think by the time he came to manage stuff out here, I think Punjab has now reached a stage where they probably think it's now or never. They need to at some point get a stable structure. Ricky's a strong coach. Let's forget about what else he is. He's a strong coach. And one of the reasons I think the issue in Delhi towards the end was that, again, you have Ricky Ponting, you have Saurav Ganguly, very strong cricketing personalities you have to decide whose opinion to take. I think now he's the guy in charge. They're going to give him a runway of 1 or 2 years. And I think it's a really, really good move because he would have said, okay, clear the debris. Okay, I'll take these 2 young kids, clear the debris, let me make a side. Then you then judge me on that.
Yeah.
Judge me on what I can do with the guys I pick. I'm not going to take legacy. And he has some really, really good right to match candidates out there, whether it's Livingston, whether it's Karan, whether it's Ravada, whether it's Arshdeep. You have lots of really good right to match candidates out there.
I think they might
Primarily
go for Arshdeep. Yeah?
Yeah, primarily two. They'd like Liam Livingston. I don't think he gave them too much last time, but he's a quality player. He's actually led England in a couple of games. So if I was them, I'd look at right to match for Livingston. I'd look at right to match for Arshdeep, and I would not look beyond them.
Yeah.
Ravada?
If I could get Jitesh Sharma back, but really not too much more. I mean, there's a case for Harshal Patel. We've almost forgotten Harshal Patel, but he just keeps picking up wickets. So I don't know if there's a case for Harshal Patel, though they might be able to buy him back. I don't know if they'll break the bank on Harshal again.
The thing again with Punjab is that, and we talk about that with teams, the teams that are successful are always like one person's team. It's one person's thought, like we were talking about. Ricky Ponting may just have come into the team because they've had a lot of seasons where obviously it's been middling for them, right? At that point, when you get a new person, somebody as strong-minded, as experienced as Ricky Ponting, he could pretty much dictate terms, right? When he comes in and says, all right, I'll do the job, I'll take it, but you have to give me 2 years to run it like the way I want to run it.
Yeah, and he has this relatively clean slate. That's the most important thing. He has a relatively clean slate. I mean, the only parts of the staff that he's got that he also knows them very well. I mean, Andrew and Adrian.
Yeah.
For old hands again, Andrew has been part of the Australian setup as well. Adrian has been around. So I think they're a set team in what they want to do. And Ricky has a chance to paint his own canvas. And I think it's important that at this time they make a stand and they say they do it. And the other thing is that I think, again, that captaincy material, that's why they need that one dominant India player, somebody up front in the order.
So Pant, basically between Pant, Iyer and Rahul.
Yeah. Rahul, the only thing I'd say about Rahul is Rahul has been here and, like...
You don't go back to your exes. Right?
Possible. Well, but yeah.
Rahul has a few exes. Rahul has a few exes.
That's true, but he could go back to one of them, though. Could go back to Bangalore.
Yeah, he could go back.
But I guess you don't go back to exes. You've had a messy breakup.
Write off something else.
Yes?
Don't write off something left field from Punjab. And I don't know, it's just a gut. There's something floating around. They might just buy a captain and say, I'll take 3 overseas players around him and have Steve Smith as captain.
Ooh.
So I'm going to put another name there, Harsha. So Steve Smith is one candidate.
Go on.
Who's just won the Caribbean Premier League?
Faf du Plessis.
And St. Lucia. Du Plessis, forget 37, 38. These are all numbers. Du Plessis is as fit as anyone in the game. I mean, we've had somebody like a Brad Hawk play when he was 43 years old. So Duplessis is another. So Duplessis, Steve Smith. I even see if the number goes high, I even see Josh Butler in that list. So all these three guys you can pick up and say, because see, the one thing Ricky might want to do is have a captain who's on his wavelength.
Yeah, fair.
And it might work. So maybe he has that with Shreyas, but if Shreyas' price goes too high, these are guys you can also look at.
Okay, so then, Harsha, do you think any of these three for Punjab?
They'll go for it. They'll go for it. It depends on what back channel talks have happened. If you live in Gurgaon and all, you know this political terminology, back channel talks. I don't know if there's been back channel talks happened there, which we are not privy to. If say Ricky and Rishabh have had a chat and said, "Nana, we're going to get you here," or if Ricky has told Shreyas, because my gut feel is that Shreyas might go back to Delhi, but you never know.
That's interesting. Delhi would want Shreyas as well. When did we think that day would come?
Funniest thing though will be,
yeah.
The funniest thing will be if does KKR has a right to match?
Yeah, KKR has a right to match.
I think one.
But they can't go right to match for a capped player? Can KKR use right to match for...
Oh, wait, let me check. Let me check my notes. KKR's right to match is for... No right to match is left for KKR.
None. Zero.
No, they've gone all six, right? So they can't go and... No, they can't. I thought it would be a delicious thought if they use right to match for Shreyas.
But look, if you are Shreyas, 6 players have been... You're the captain of probably one of the most successful winning teams in IPL history.
Defending champion.
Let's
not look too far.
Yeah, and they did it in style. Very rarely has it been so dominant. And you're the captain of that team. They retain 6 players. And you're not among the top 6. So, you retain 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, 4 players.
You think it was about the money? Because we know with the other one it was not about the money because he pretty much told us that on social media.
Correct.
With him it was not about money. So probably about captaincy, I'm guessing, with him. Maybe, maybe not.
I think with Shreyas it could have been about the money because,
No, with Shreyas the money, with Rishabh not. With Rishabh was the captaincy, with Shreyas the money.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if it is Rishabh, it's a captaincy. With Shreyas, it's the money. And Delhi might not even have said, no, we don't want you as captain. They might have said, you know what, should we take a decision after the auction? And just, if I'm somebody there, I'm the incumbent, I'll say, look, if you're not sure of me, then let it be. I don't want to be a part.
Okay, let's move to the next team. We've got many to go through. The next team. Who we got next? Who's got the second highest purse? RCB. Let's talk about RCB.
Still hiding underneath there?
Yeah.
Is?
Producer.
Yeah.
Producer still hiding underneath.
Got him right there. In fact, I got him a slightly higher desk to sit under because that's where I keep them, the minions. But with RCB, of course, their retentions. They got Virat Kohli, Rajat Patidar, Yash Dayal. Very happy that they got Rajat Patidar there. They still have a lot of money. They've got 3. They've got one of those uncapped. They have a purse remaining of 83. It's looking good for them.
It's doing good for them. Can I also say that they are one of the teams definitely who's playing it exactly by the book? And the reason I say that is some of the retention numbers that I've seen on other teams, they don't seem logical to me. You see that retention number and a player of that quality being retained for 16, 17 crores doesn't make sense. However, this is a company that's actually run by a multinational company where all the books are this thing. So these are actual numbers and these are real numbers. This is exactly what these players are being paid, not 1 rupee more, not 1 rupee less, which is not something you can say for all the teams. So it's interesting. They'll play it by the book. They have people like Mo Bobat and all in charge right now. Their thought process, Andy Flower, Mo Bobat, it's going to be very solid, very professional. And I can tell you, if they have looked at KL Rahul, they've had at least 5 chats with him, taken his opinion, done everything together, said that, okay, if we get you, we're going to go up to this for you. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Harsha, there are times when I feel, I wish that we were a news channel because what Joy just said right now would have come with like 18 sound effects. Right?
Absolutely. RCB is actually going to be one of the most interesting teams to follow. I think they want Rishabh Pant. I think they want KL Rahul. I think that's a marriage there that's waiting to be solemnized. But then, do they have enough money to buy the bowlers? Because if you look down that list, they've got Yash Dayal there as a bowler. They've got to build a complete bowling side, which they've not all done historically. They've not done too well. So if they want Rishabh, if they want KL Rahul, they've got to have enough money to get the big bowlers to win. So if there's one team that you want to watch closely, it is RCB. Though at the moment, the RCB fans are absolutely overjoyed because Virat Kohli is 92 batting.
Yes, that's right. It's ominous. A good
He's
sign.
batting beautifully.
Good
He's
signs,
batting
good
beautifully.
signs.
He's batting like Virat Kohli.
I have a question. You think at any point in time, Flower and Mo have gone to Virat and said, you know what, you want to come back and do this? Would they have spoken to him? Would he be interested at all, knowing him, seeing him? Harsha, you've been...
I just want to say one thing, Joy. Virat's about to get a century. And you're hinting that he may become captain. RCB fans right now, their heads have exploded. That sound that you heard, their hearts can't handle the happiness. Just calm down. Don't drop these bombs so carelessly.
I think they will. I think they will. I think Virat's ready.
It makes sense.
From my gut feel is Virat's ready for another challenge. Virat might just want to give it because Virat has a few ambitions left. Obviously, he wants to do well in Australia. He wants to shut. He wants to tell people, look, I'm not gone anywhere. But Virat wants to win the IPL too, and I think he's game to play. I mean, he's playing uppercuts. He's playing reverse sweeps. So why can't he go back as captain?
I think it's a feeling. It's a hunch. No one's given us any insider information. I've not even spoken to anyone about it, but it's just a hunch. I think that just may happen. We won't know it. We won't know it for a long time. Any RTM cards they'd play? Do you think they'll play it for Siraj?
I think Siraj is the only one. I'm just thinking of who else can they look at really. I mean, there aren't that many options that they have available.
They're not looking Maxwell. They're definitely not looking Maxwell. They could have got Duplessis. They're not looking at Duplessis. Dinesh Karthik's retired. Dinesh Karthik is now more
Cameron Green
than RCB.
Cam's injured.
Cameron Green is out.
He's out for the IPL. Yes.
What level he's going to be coming back?
Yeah.
So there's nobody else.
Akashdeep.
I'll be surprised if they don't go Siraj.
They might also look at Will Jacks. I think he gives them something in the top order last time he started.
Could be good call.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's they're going to be doing a lot of shopping and it'll be fun. And I like the fact that there's DK there because there's just something about having a player who has played so recently. It's just that extra spice that it adds. And I think out of all the tables that are there, that are sitting there, the 10 tables in Jeddah, I think he's the one who has played the most recently, right?
I mean, no, Sanju and all are apparently there.
Oh, Sanju's there as well. So, leaving aside if any captain is there, any current player, any person in the coaching staff, or any person in the management staff, he would be the most recent player. DK.
I would say he'd be.
And if many of the captains are there, Sanju's there, that's great. Love it. They've retained well as well. Anyway, let's move to the third team. The ones with a lot of money again. Delhi. The Delhi team is going in with, how much cash do they have? 73 crores for them. Akshar captaining this team, you feel? These are good retentions as well. Harsha, Akshar captaining this team, you feel, or they'll buy a captain?
Yeah, I think they'll keep their options open to see whether they can get Shreyas Iyer to come back and lead the side. Those are two pretty good retentions. Akshar Patel, genuinely the only finger spinner who can be picked as a finger spinner in a side. He's that good. They like Abhishek Porel. If they're confident, they may not even go in for another keeper. And I think Tristan Stubbs is one of the most improved players in world cricket. So they've retained pretty well, but they still need to build a whole team around them. They've got their spinners, and like everybody else, they're going to be in the market for fast bowlers. You know how it is at an exhibition? There are some stalls that everybody visits. Yeah. There's a fast bowler stall. Everybody's going to visit that stall. They're all going to be queuing up there. That's
going to happen with
Delhi as well. Fail, that's why.
Any RTM cards they're going to play? You feel?
That's what I was looking down the list and saying that, there's no RTM areas they can do capped, uncapped.
Khalil?
Nokia maybe.
Khalil maybe, Nokia maybe.
Jake
Warner's the interesting one. I'm working with Warner here. That's the interesting one. But I don't think they'll want to use an RTM for Warner. He's not going to go for too much.
Jake Fraser-McGurk showed us flashes last year that he could really hit the ball.
Yeah, he's not scored a run after that, Joy.
Yeah, he's gone off the boil after that.
Mukesh?
Mukesh is interesting, but again, I don't think he's high on their list of priorities. I think Khalil gives them a left-arm option, though Mukesh did okay for them last time. But I think they also have a lot of
The
other
situation
things
with
they
Mitch
need to
Marsh.
Mitch Marsh is a big call. Mitch Marsh is a very, very good call.
I feel that, I
They've
mean,
got
if he's
10, 11
available for the
overseas
entire,
in
if
there.
he's available for the entire season, Mitch Marsh is a good call for an all-rounder. There is no Cameron Green this time. Marco Jansen is a very good call again for an all-rounder. Most expensive all-rounder could be Marco Jansen.
Marco Jansen is a big pick, and
Oh.
I think he's raised his game hugely.
Yeah, Harsha, most expensive all-rounder
And-
today.
And he's done the best thing you can do before an auction, which is do well against India.
And really well.
Remember Odean Smith?
Yes, yes.
Did well against India. Everyone was chasing Odean Smith. I don't see him anywhere. But I think among the overseas players, yes, we've talked about Joss Butler and the others. Marco Jansen, definitely. Jofra Archer. What about Jofra Archer?
How fit is he, Harsha?
So there's Jofra's the interesting story actually, because Jofra Archer was he had talks with Robert Key at the ECB, and they said we want you to play the Ashes next year. So don't play the IPL this year. Work on your fitness, play white ball cricket, play the odd test match against India when India go there in July or June, July to play 5 test matches, and then be ready for the Ashes. What I think he wasn't aware of was this new rule that if you're fit and available and choose not to be in the IPL auction, then you cannot come into a mini auction next year or the year after that. And that meant that Jofra Archer would have been out of the auction, out of the IPL for 3 years. Now suddenly Jofra is saying, Ashes, IPL, 3 years, can I manage? Well, I want to be back in the IPL. So that's how Jofra has come back into the IPL. So I'm absolutely certain that they will have there'll be a lot of teams going for him, because he also gives you a big hitting option at number 7, number 8. The only thing with Jofra Archer is that sometimes he inhabits his own universe. But I guess if you can handle that, that's okay.
Look, I just said that our producers are also naughty when they're talking about, players not playing for 3 years and right to match and all that. They have a picture of Stark out there.
Yeah.
But the truth is that the point is they don't want people to cherry pick auctions.
Yep.
Big players go for big money in small auctions because there's limited players available and somebody is desperate, somebody's done badly, they've released a few players, they need to spend money. So the point of it is that that's what they want to stop. They want to say, you can't sit and wait out here and say, okay, I'm going to come in next year because, the money is going to be better next year. And I think that is a rule that I think, it's a great, great rule to have. Just saying, the 2-3 things the IPL has done this year that I really appreciate. One is telling us the window for the next 3 years.
Yep.
Because they would be knowing the window as well, because they would have gone to all the boards and said, we want full clearance for these 2 months or whatever it is.
Yep.
So they knew the windows, they've released the windows early, they've said, look, dude, if you're here, you get picked the first year, you get picked the first year. It's not, you can't sit and say, I'm going to play only the second year or the third year or pick when I want to come. If you're committed to us, it's a long-term relationship.
Yeah. So something else that's happened that's very interesting, and I know we're going to go back to the teams, and GK is getting all kinds of messages in his ear saying move on.
No, I think he's asleep. I think the producer's asleep. I don't think he cares anymore. He stopped caring in 2021. Sorry, you were saying.
No. What else has happened is, because the reason they've announced the dates is Australia have said all our players are available for each of the 3 years, everyone except for one game in 2027 when they play a test match to commemorate 150 years of test match cricket. So they'll come a little bit late. All contracted players from England are all available. West Indies all available. So it tells you 2 things. One, it tells you the place that the IPL occupies in the pantheon of cricket worldwide, but also it tells you that that's the reason they've announced it so early, because they want everyone to be available. It starts much earlier, so it ends a little earlier, doesn't go into June. So the IPL now has a position in the calendar, and the others can play around it.
15th March, pretty much to the end of May. So, and it's going to be more games. So that's why it is longer. It's becoming 2.5 months. How many years before it becomes like the English Premier League? On for 8 months a year. Shreyas Iyer for Delhi, yes or no, Harsha? Yes, okay. Joy, you?
I think Punjab will have something to say about that.
I think that those 2 teams will go big after him.
I think they'll go big after him, and don't be surprised if you get a third guy out there. Even a Bangalore could look at somebody like a Shreyas Iyer. He's a perfect candidate. He can do a lot. Again, that depends on what chats they've had with Virat Kohli.
Okay, interesting. Just read a very interesting stat. The youngest shortlisted player in the auction is 13 years and 242 days old. Can he even play a night game? Is he allowed to play a night game? Doesn't mummy call him home at 8:30?
Devyansh, right?
And the oldest is, let me tell you, the oldest is 42 years, 117 days. So the youngest one is my batchmate. The oldest one is your batchmate, Joy. And Harsha sir, we will not say. Just ऐसे ही सर आप दूर बैठे ना तो आपसे पंगा लेना आसान है. जॉयदा के साथ दोनों दिन बिताने ना, अब आज और कल. आपका तो जूम लिंक ऑफ कर देंगे ना, आप नाराज हो गए.
It's like what Kirmani used to do. Whenever he had trouble with Srikanth talking too much, he'd just switch off his hearing it. Do what you want to. I'm not going to listen to anything.
That's funny. All right, our next team. The next team has 69 crores that are available for them. What will they go shopping for? Yeah, Lucknow. Lucknow's got a good core that they have retained. Remember, Mayank Yadav, very exciting in the last auction. Mohsin Khan, last IPL. Mohsin Khan exciting in the previous one. Ravi Bishnoi, of course, the slowly becoming one of the first choice 11 leg spinners. Well, Varun is there as well, of course, as you know. Ayush Badoni, who has shown us flashes, glimpses. And then, of course, Nicholas Pooran, whose pedigree as a T20 batter needs no explanation. Good retentions here, Harsha, and they've got 69 crores available.
Everyone is fit, very good retentions, because Mohsin and Mayank Yadav, you get a left hand quick, you get a right hand quick, but both injury prone. So they've taken a bit of a punt on those two. Nicholas Pooran, I think Pooran and Klaasen outside of Surya Kumar Yadav and the Indians that we know better are the two most incredibly aggressive batters in the middle order. So Nicholas Pooran, goodbye. 21 crores. Nicholas Pooran's just gone real estate hunting in Trinidad. I don't think it would have cost 21 crores, but there was that Hawa at that time that because of the amended RTM rules, you may not get him. So Klaasen and Pooran have benefited enormously from that. So, but in any case, Pooran, fantastic buy. Badoni has just done well. Delhi is in good form, but they're the one team that if everyone is fit, have three bowlers in their starting 11 already there.
Yeah.
So they might be shopping at other counters.
I'm just thinking that this is also the influence of Zahir Khan.
Yep.
Zach, our old friend, he's out there. And I think Zahir would have looked at them, evaluated their fitness and said that, with no injuries from now to then on, they're fit to play, they're good to play. I think that's something they would want to hear from him, because his joining the team, his joining that think tank is a huge, huge plus for them. And he definitely, the fast bowlers is something that will be his department. Remember, they used to have Morne Morkel, who's now with the Indian team.
Yeah.
So Zach is going to take over that role. And I think they have gone to him and asked him what they can do. The interesting thing is, I think that big right to match is one of the definite candidates is Marcus
Quinny
Stoinis.
or Marcus Stoinis?
Marcus Stoinis or Quinny, yeah, one of those.
100%
Marcus Stoinis?
Because now Stoinis opens as well. He bowls for you.
I feel like Stoinis should have always opened. Like, I remember you opened for Delhi in one final that they played against Mumbai. Stoinis is a really gun opener, and he gives you a couple of overs as well. So, yeah, could be Stoinis with the right to match. All right, so these guys, and sorry, they're captain hunting as well.
So, Pooran can captain,
Yes,
but...
You think?
Pooran can captain. He is captain the West Indies quite often, but they still could be looking,
Yeah, they could be. All right. You obviously know that they won't go back for KL Rahul, because otherwise, I think any team that has let their captain go, three of them have let their captain go very, very clearly, which is KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant. I really doubt if they'll be...
Yeah. And I want to say there are three things that can happen in situation like this. One is a simple one, that I am speaking to you and you say the price is not right. And you go to this thing and you say, I'm going to take my chances in the open market, where there's no ill feeling at all from either side. You're just turning around and say that, look, this price is not good enough for me.
Yeah.
At which point, if the price is good enough and it comes, you can't decide what the auction price is. If the team puts a right to match which works and you can right to match, you get your player back.
Yep.
And there's no hard feelings because you just get the price you want. There's a second situation where...
Sorry. I have to interrupt you. Kohli's got 100. Now I can switch off.
Tees for the Tees Khan. Yes.
Fabulous.
His 30th century, and India has also declared. India's retired. India can actually, can I tell you something? India can actually retire from this test match.
Yeah.
Look who's talking about the others being older and he's talking about retirement.
I have a feeling, but the way the two of you work, I feel I will retire before the two of you.
Certainly, you'll retire before him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go early, but
We all will.
before him.
I have to say कि हर्षा भाई सबको घर बेच के घर जाएंगे. ठीक है? वो रात को पार्टी में जो लाइटें ऑफ करते हैं ना, ये करेंगे लाइटें ऑफ.
The producer is saying challenge accepted.
Yeah, really. Yeah, but he's not. He checked out in 2021, so he's not really doing any proper work. But yeah, congratulations to Virat Kohli getting his 100. I think it's very important because the thing with Indian social media, with at least cricket social media in India, is everyone's so quick on the trigger. They're so trigger happy, and the way the career obituaries have been written about Virat in the last couple of weeks, and after that first innings, I feel like this century. Perhaps, I don't know if it means to him as much as the one back in 2014, but I think this is a very important one as well, a decade later. So yeah, congratulations to Virat and congratulations to India, who have declared.
Correct.
Declared. And I will now declare the next team, which I don't know. लाओ जरा graphic. कौन सा है? अरे अपने भाई की टीम है सर. अपने भाई की टीम है ये रहे. So very interesting though that the captain here has actually been retained in second position. Just shows you the importance of Rashid. I also like what has happened with Sai Sudarshan. I know that Ashish Nehra, Vikram Solanki, the big believers in his talent, and why I don't think that requires any explanation because anyone who's seen him bat now, domestic, IPL, international, he's a gun talent. I love the retentions of Rahul Tewatia and Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan, Harsha, if he unleashes that potential that we know he has, this could be an inspired retention.
Yes, but so far that potential has not been unleashed. It's remained confined in one of the corners that he has hidden it in. But everyone I've spoken to says, no, Shah Rukh can turn it on. I think this will be his last chance to turn it on. Honestly, I see in the TNPL, I see how he does there. But this is his chance. They've given him a huge vote of confidence. Some people thought, but why did Shah Rukh agree to be retained? He might have got a little bit more in the auction. I'm not sure. In the mega auction, he would have got too much more. So I think it's a good retention. Rahul Tewatia is the more interesting retention for me because last time he had gone for double this amount. So that he's agreed to be retained at 4 crores means I wonder whether he's looking at a certain finite possibility, whether he's saying, if I do well, 3 years, I've got 12 crores in the kitty. It might not get me a house next to Joyce, but I can still live quite well. So Rahul Tewatia is the interesting retention for me. Shubman Gill going slightly under because I think Rashid wanted to be the top retention. So and as Joyce, I love the retention of Sai Sudarshan. I think of all the candidates, I like Ruturaj Gaikwad and Sai Sudarshan.
Yeah, solid player. Him. RTM. Do they have any RTMs
Yeah, one.
left?
They have capped
one.
RTM, and look at somebody like a David Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at a David Miller, you can look at a Noor Ahmed. There's some very, very interesting characters there. Shami is the interesting one. And I am just looking at them saying that, yeah, look, Shami is a bowler who gives them a lot. But I'm saying Shami is like a weapon you use, but you may not be able to use that weapon for 3 years.
Okay.
So now I feel that Shami is the kind of person who, if he's fit, will give you probably one really good year, maybe a good second year. But that's what they're looking at. Everyone is looking at and saying, am I going to get 3 good years out of him? Maybe not. And there are teams who might turn around and say that if he can get me 25 wickets this year, it doesn't matter what he does in the next couple of years.
Yeah, Harsha, I've got another question for you. There's one guy who toasted the town for MI, for India, double century, fell off the radar. And he's kind of fallen off our collective consciousness as well. Gun player, wicketkeeper batter, opener, Ishan Kishan, right? We talk about the mahal of Gujarat. Can that be something that is required to kind of kickstart him once again? Because there's no question mark over his skill and potential.
It could be. And I think Shubman Gill, Ishan Kishan, I think they get along very well.
Best buddies.
That might be a really good call. Because the one thing with Ishan Kishan is you've got to ask him, how are you feeling, young man? because I don't think anybody doubts his ability. He's an extraordinary player. I have a lot of time for Ishan Kishan. He's an opening batter. He can bat at number 4 for you, left-hander, good strike rate. How are you feeling about life? How are you feeling? And I think that will be the factor. If I had to look at Ishan Kishan, I would take him aside and say, how are you feeling? Are you confident? Are you okay? Are you feeling settled? Because I think there was too much going on in his mind last year, and that's contributed to him not playing for India for the last 12 months. But he's far too good a player. It'll be a fabulous selection, Ishan Kishan to GT.
And what Harsha is saying, I can't think of a better candidate than Ashish Nehra for that. The arm around the youngster, I mean, the amount of time that he has for young players, I feel that's what's required for someone like Ishan.
I so totally agree, because I was just thinking of Shubman Gill and saying how many coaches or management staff can tell a young player who's probably one of India's finest young kids, saying that, okay, no, there's this international player who'd like to be the top pick. He has the seniority. You may be the captain, but he's a senior international player. Give him his due.
Yeah.
And to allow it. So I think that's part of the magic of, not just Ashish, but his entire team. Solanki, Ashish Chopra, all of them come together, and the way they work so seamlessly, I still so enjoy the way they run their team. So I think that's a big call. I think you're right, absolutely. Ishan Kishan, sometimes you can't decide, and I think he landed last time in the worst possible situation. He landed in Mumbai, where he was being paid 15.25 crores in, frankly, a star-studded team.
Yeah.
So, on a star-studded team, there are guys, players senior to you who have gone for 12 crores, 8 crores, the Surya Kumars and the Bumrahs, and you're the 15.25 crore guy. So there was so much pressure, and Mumbai is anyway a team where there is going to be pressure. The city, the way it is, the ownership, everything. So I think if he lands somewhere where he can sort of hide and be nurtured rather than thrust into the limelight, I think he'll do really well.
Could that be? Well, good.
Question.
Yes?
Only one question for Ishan Kishan is, I think he wants to open the batting, and there's Gill and Sai Sudarshan already, so they'll have to tell him, do you want to bat at 3? Do you want to come in there and do what you can do? Because I think he'll want to go to a side where he opens the batting. That could be the only thing.
Fair enough. Next, yellow, champion fellow. Let's have a look at the Chennai team. They, of course, have their retentions are very interesting because of the last name there. MS Dhoni retained for 4 crores as the uncapped player. Then they have Shivam Dube, Pathirana, Ravindra Jadeja, Rituraj Gaikwad. If you were to ask they have 1 RTM remaining. Who would they use it for?
Devon Conway.
Ooh.
Devon Conway.
Not Rachin Ravindra?
I think what they'll do with CSK is, I think they'll look at the order in which they're coming. I think Devon Conway is coming before Rachin Ravindra in the order. So if they can buy Devon Conway, they'll use that RTM for Rachin Ravindra, because I think the bidding for Ravindra might just go a little bit more than the bidding for Devon Conway. Ideally for them, if they can buy Conway, if they can buy Ravindra, they might use their RTM for Tushar Deshpande as well. So they've got 3 options there. But ideally, they want those 3 back in their side, because Chennai Super Kings is family first. Look how they've given 18 crores to Rituraj Gaikwad. He's not getting 18 in the auction, but they've respected the fact that he's captain by giving him 18. They've respected the junior Thalapathy, or whatever he's called, Jadeja, by giving him 18 crores. So I think their first pick, they look Conway, they look Ravindra, they look Tushar Deshpande for that RTM, just depending on how the auction dynamics.
There's a Daryl Mitchell there as well, who they quite like, who's done well. So yeah, it's interesting for them, Joy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have a fantasy theory. My big fantasy theory is that they get somebody like, and he survives and gets there, a Rishabh Pant, and Rishabh Pant gets 2 years to be under Dhoni. Just 2 years under Dhoni, where Dhoni is playing less and less, playing as a finisher, not as a keeper, and just saying, okay, I'm your final finishing school.
And make him open. Make him open.
Yeah.
He's done the opening bit before. Did it for India for a couple of games as well. Make him open. Can be completely destructive with Rituraj Gaikwad on the other side.
Yeah, they complement each other very well in the styles they play.
Yeah, love Cricbuzz Live, man. On a Sunday afternoon, we've got Harsha talking about back channels. We've got Joy talking about his fantasies. Not the
that didn't come out very well.
The show. Not the show
Stop
I signed up for. I told you the producer's been asleep since 2021. There's no idea what's going on. Okay, let's move to our next team. Real quick, the reason we're not delving too much on Chennai is because they somehow managed to. It somehow, Joy, doesn't matter. Like, you look at Chennai, you want to analyze them, say, have they had a good auction? Have they had a bad auction? What has happened? They just put a team together. You give them anything. It's almost like you give them any ingredients and they put a champion team together. Somehow, doesn't it? There's something.
No, they always land up there and thereabouts on how they do it. And this year they've got another weapon. I mean, one of my most respected analysts, Srikanth, he's moved from Kolkata to Chennai, so he's out there. And I think his speciality is also picking out those international and Indian players that you don't see. So the Varun Chakravartis of the world, the Prasidh Krishnas of the world, the Rinku Singhs of the world, these are all Srikanth picks.
Oh, nice.
So look out for, some interesting left field international and domestic picks because he being there, he gives them that extra, option.
Yeah. So that's it. We're just saying, with ingredients
two more
and dishes,
players.
secret spice.
I'm looking at, sorry.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, Harsha.
Sorry, I know there's a bit of a lag from where I am, so it keeps interrupting. Look out for two more players. Look at Josh Hazelwood. He had a good season with CSK.
Yeah.
And look at Faf coming back because they look at Faf as our person whom the situation sort of forced to move to RCB, but they like Faf. And he's the right age for CSK, apparently.
No, stop it.
He's got one in.
Stop it. I like it. The three of us should not be making any age jokes. Just saying. None of us.
Three of us?
Yes. I've counted myself in it.
You just talked about retirement.
I just talked about the 13-year-old being my batchmate, and I've spoken about retirement as well. That's my dream, man. Retire at 21, with a little island somewhere next to Nicholas Puran's island in the Caribbean. Next team. Who we got next? All right. Let's have a look down the sheet. Okay, we have Kolkata. And that's interesting. They have so many retentions, but what has happened there is they've let go their captain and most of their management staff, their support staff is gone as well, has gone to India, Joy.
Yep, lot of them.
Yeah.
They've lost Abhishek Nair, they've lost Ryan Tendushkarte. Most importantly, they've lost Gautam Gambhir. And I think those three are huge. I think the biggest success that Kolkata has made is to retain these players at this price. I mean, for 12 crores to retain the likes of, players of the quality of Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, I mean, I find it really difficult to believe how they managed to do it, but good for them, because those prices allow them to remain competitive while having a really, really good core.
Yeah.
And I think where this sort of situation changed with Shreyas Iyer would have been that I think they would have gone in of 12, 13, 14, 15 crore, that kind of range for him. And I think he would obviously feel he would probably get more elsewhere. So well,
I feel they will bid for one person, because the one person who has changed KKR every time and given them a new direction has been a Bengali by the name of Roy Babu. Jason Roy Babu. Every time he comes in the auction, they make him something or the other happens, and it works well for them.
Yeah. Somebody else comes and does well for him.
Yeah. There was Gurbaz. Once they traded him, then they bought Jason Roy. Didn't come, got Phil Salt as a replacement. So I think they should bid for Jason Roy just as good luck. Right? Just a little good luck. And of course, he's the only Roy who doesn't want to go to Calcutta.
There's two other picks I'm very impressed by.
Yeah.
Two other picks. Very, very impressed by. I mean, Joy talked about getting Narayan and Russell for 12 crores. Getting Harshit Rana for 4, and I'll tell you that Ramandeep Singh is some player,
Oh, yeah.
Ramandeep for 4, Harshit Rana for 4. There's a story behind Harshit Rana, by the way, and it's got to do with a very peculiar medical viral condition that came in just before the retention date for...
You're a naughty man.
So, no, it happened. I mean, poor guy, he was unwell. So what can you do? They expected him to play, but Harshit Rana is a serious player to get Joy. Come on.
This requires me to intervene with my one word.
And
naughty.
For 4.
Naughty. Very naughty. I like it. Sir, I love it. I really, this little juvenile detention center that you've become part of. KKR need a keeper though, Harsha.
They need a keeper, and they don't have an RTM card. They would have been desperate to keep Venkatesh Iyer, to keep Phil Salt. They need a keeper. I won't be surprised if they go back for one of Salt or Gurbaz. But Salt will now cost them a lot of money. I think Salt is a very good buy. Salt will cost them cost them a lot of money. I won't be surprised if they go Gurbaz. Watch out for the Afghan players, though, in this auction. There's a lot of Afghan players who will sort of creep into the auction, but I think they might go Gurbaz again.
They could.
I still think that if it's available and the price is right, because if others don't bid for him, they might make a go for Jos Butler.
Oh, interesting.
Because Jos Butler is the kind of guy who comes in, immediate captain, can work with everyone. Because remember, this is a different team. In terms of, I think, obviously Gautam Gambhir still will have a huge influence in, Shah Rukh will pick up the call and say, who do you want to take? But I think on a day-to-day basis, it's going to be Bravo and Chandrakant Pandit who are going to run it. So they'll want a nice, experienced captain out there.
Fair enough. Also, remember, they're the team that's gone in with a solid 5, 6, 7, and they have bowlers. So they need top order players, right? They at the moment, yes, Sunil Narayan can open. Yes, we know whether they do it or not a regular opener. But so you'd get, they are looking for a 1, 2, 3, so that'll be interesting. All right, let's go to Mumbai now.
Harsha has some.
Can I talk one player before we go to Mumbai?
Yes, sure.
One player before we go to Mumbai. I absolutely love Rinku Singh as a player. At the moment, Rinku Singh is being lost as a finisher. Rinku Singh is being lost at 6. There's big pool there, lots of people swimming in it, and there's one Rinku Singh there at number 6. I think this year should see Rinku Singh move up to number 4 and say, Rinku, you're a proper batter. You play 20 balls. You'll finish in style for us. So that's what I'm looking for from KKR this year.
I love it. Would love if that happens because he's super exciting to watch as well. Well, for Mumbai, my God, look at this all-star retention, right? It is just, it's gold dust. All of it is absolute gold dust. Bumrah, Suryakumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Rohit Sharma, nothing to say about them. Tilak Verma, what do you say about him now? 3 centuries on the go, right? 2 in internationals, 1 in domestic now. So he's got 300s in this format. It's fantastic, but they don't have too much money left again, right?
But most importantly, MI is hurting. They're not used to 2-3 years out in the wild way. They're not qualifying and all. This is not MI. So
that's a side of the table they haven't seen too much.
They haven't seen. So they are going to be really, really motivated and they're going to give it this. And that lineup is, so that's what, international players are not going to cost you that much, provided you go beyond the top 2 or 3. So I see MI is going to play a lot of their games post the first day or late in the first day, most of the second day. That's where MI will do their things because they know enough international players are sitting out there waiting for them. They've got the Indian players here. They've got the captains. Oh God, they have
They've
captains.
got Bumrah.
Yeah.
They've got Bumrah, they've got Hardik. So they've got 6-7 overs already there. Hardik's fit and running. They've got 8 overs there. But most days they've got 7 overs already picked over there. They've got an opener. They've got a number 3. They've got a number 4. So they've got everybody that they need. What they need is a flamboyant opener wicketkeeper. They need one of those middle order finishers and they need 2 fast bowlers. So that's who they are in the market for from the overseas segment. Now look at how many fast bowlers are there in the auction. I know I said, look, everyone's congregating to that stall, but there's a lot of items there. There's about 50, 60 fast bowlers, I think, in the overall list. So I don't see fast bowlers going for too much money. Yeah. So I think they'll get the fast bowlers that they want. So that's what they want. And as always for MI, that is like an art gallery, right? Each one of them is fantastic. Where are the spinners that they need? I saw some numbers about the teams that use spinners the least and where they finish in the IPL. Mumbai need 2 or 3 quality spinners. Where are those spinners? So if they get some good Indian players, fast bowlers, they might actually go out and hunt for an overseas spinner. Someone like a Zampa or somebody, they might go looking for them. But they need proper spinners this year.
Some proper wrist spinners there, a couple of finger spinners as well. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
KL is also an interesting candidate.
Hasaranga will be excellent.
Hasaranga will be excellent. Chahal started off as a net bowler for MI.
Correct, yes. Absolutely.
So he spent a lot of time out there. He knows the conditions. Again, it'll be interesting. It all depends on price, but you're right. They are going to turn around and say, this year we're not going to make the mistake of not having a qualities.
They're going to have a foreign quick bowler who's left-handed. That's my prediction with them. They do that. They 100%. Like it. Right and left.
100%.
100% they'll have that. Okay, let's move to the next team because it's about to start. So let's quickly run through a couple of teams that are left with Hyderabad. Brilliant retentions there as well. You look at that and you go, geez, that's got champion written all over it. Nitish Reddy with 6 crores, and you've seen him do well in the test match. Abhishek Sharma just knows one way to play, and that's the way you want to play, especially in Hyderabad, in the IPL, in T20 cricket. Travis Head, then captain Pat Cummins and Heinrich Klaassen, which obviously leaves them with not too much money. That's probably the only concern for them. They have one RTM available. That's it. But
that's an uncapped RTM.
For an uncapped player.
And they're uncapped. They don't have too many great uncapped options remaining from the players they had originally. So.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. Do they have anyone?
No.
Not really. I mean, their buyback options.
I mean, they can go Abdul Samad again, and you can go Rahul Tripathi is capped as well. Mayank Agarwal is capped. So, all their bowlers are capped. Unadkat, Buvi, Natarajan, they're all capped. The only one they could go for is Abdul Samad. But I think they've given him a fairly long rope. See, they've spent a lot of money, GK, but look at who they've got. They've got one of the world's best finishers. They've got one of the most fearsome openers. They've got a young kid, Abhishek Sharma, who was very good for them. I just hope that the tracks this year support them, because the pitches are not like that. They're not batting like that. They've got a good captain who might be tired, because remember, he's also got to go and win a series in Sri Lanka after this one. But they've got a captain there, and they've got one of the brightest young talents in India in Nitish Reddy. So they've got a core to build around. Much like Mumbai Indians, they've got to be very smart in the auction and look for bargain picks.
Yeah, then they've actually let go of a player who I'm a big fan of, and I think he'll get a few bids as well. That's Glenn Phillips, because with the kind of bowling that he's done, and you saw him do so much bowling in India and then in Sri Lanka, he's a proper all-rounder with the spin that he's been.
I think Glenn Phillips is one of those guys who Marco Jansen, Glenn Phillips are going to go for a lot of money. I mean, they may not be among the two marquee picks, but I think people are going to hold back money and say that those guys are available on day 2 as well. And that's the point. You see, one of the things I believe in is that very rarely do you find a player who's so different that you pay serious amounts of money for him and you don't need to pay, you can pay a differentiate. Say there was to be a Lasith Malinga. Lasith Malinga was at a level where he was just totally different. But for the rest, you buy a player for 500,000, you're likely to get an equally good player. Or 2 crores, 3 crores, 4 crores, 5 crores, you'll get another good player for that price. And that's my point, that the differential is always there.
Is this the end? We've seen a long and fruitful relationship with Buvi and Hyderabad. Do you think this is this a bump in that relationship, them not retaining him, or is this the end of the road there?
Look, Bhuvi is not the player that he was. Bhuvi is still a very good IPL level bowler, but he wasn't the bowler that he was. But you're absolutely right. There was a very strong relationship with David Warner that ended. But you think SRH, you think Bhuvi, because Bhuvi's just been there, even in their glory years when they were qualifying every year, 16, 17, 18. It was Bhuvi and the bowlers who were playing such a big part. They'll be happy to buy him back, I think. Because I'm not sure Bhuvi is going to break the bank down. And at the stage he is in his career, he'll be happy to take what he gets. He'll get a decent bid. I won't be surprised if they buy him back at SRH.
I still think if you take his first 2 overs, he's one of the best first 2 over bowlers in the country, in the league still.
Yeah.
The first 2 overs, he can still make that ball talk. He's not that good in that remaining over or coming back in the death. But the first 2 overs, he can still do something for you. See, you'll see a lot of picks like that. Look, for whatever it is, why is 43-year-old Jimmy Anderson in the auction? Because somebody has actually put his name there. 5,000 names are there. So some team has to turn around and say that, no, I want you. And they could be a team who's turning around and saying that, you know what, you'll probably play 1 or 2 matches for us. That's it. In conditions that are very suitable. What I really want you to do is mentor my young fast bowlers. Teach them a little bit about how to do this away swing. So I want you there in the dressing room. You'll play in this pitch, we are at the Wankhede, you might just play. That's the kind of place where you get something. You're at Kolkata, we might play, but no, the rest, you're not going to play 14 matches for us. And I think that also might happen a little bit with Bhuvi. Guys pick him and say, okay, you're going to bowl 2 overs. That's definite. After that, we'll see what happens. We've got enough bowlers.
It's so interesting you say that. One of the teams has obviously picked his name and put it there. But can't they just bring him in as support staff after? If you want him to mentor, right? Can't you just bring him in as support staff, Harsha? Because
are you talking Anderson?
Sports.
Yes. You're talking Anderson.
Yes.
I've heard a story going around that it might be yellow.
Ah.
He's the right age.
Is he uncapped?
No, you said it now, not me. You said it now, not me. But it would be just like CSK to tell Jimmy Anderson to come here. We'll use you maybe 2 or 3 games, depending on how the situation goes. He hasn't played a T20 game since he was a teenager, I think. With whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't played a T20 game in a long time.
For 10 years, I think they will use him in that role. It would be very CSK to call Jimmy Anderson, make him feel very good, wanted, and say, can you help us with our young bowlers?
I like that thought. It could happen. Let's go to Rajasthan now. Rajasthan, I like this team. I like this team primarily because I like the retentions of this team. These retentions are very solid. You look down that list and you go, yes, they've got very little money remaining, but look at that batting lineup. They've pretty much got top 5 sorted. Joy?
Very powerful top 5. Very powerful top 5. And what is most best for them is it's a young and powerful top 5.
Yeah.
All these guys are in their careers where they're still growing. And even like a Sanju, you may say he's 28, 29 years old. He's just now hitting that purple patch in form. 3 centuries in 5 matches. So I think they've got that terrific core and they must be thinking that now we've got to use it.
Yeah.
They reached a final, but after that they've sort of slipped a bit. They need to, with the players that they have now, they need to convert.
But here's the problem for them, Harsha. You're looking at those retentions and you'll say, well, they are basically banking on batting the opposition out of the game. Because 41 crores is not a lot of money to build your entire bowling unit with.
And what is interesting is, how did Rajasthan Royals get there? The Rajasthan Royals got there on the back of very good batting, yes, but on the back of Trent Bolt, Avesh Khan, Sandeep Sharma, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Yuzvendra Chahal. They got on the back of this very good 5-pronged bowling attack. They've got one of those left. They've let 4 go. The bowlers did well. They've retained the batters. I'm a little surprised with Dhruv Jurel for 14 crores. I know he's a good player, but I'm a little surprised with 14 crores. And the Hetmeyer thing was interesting. I think the Hetmeyer retention happened about 5 or 10 minutes before the transfer time finished. They were talking with him till that late because they thought suddenly, oops, we don't have this left-handed power hitter in the middle and Hetmeyer is good for us. So Hetmeyer is laughing all the way to the bag and good for him. He's been good for Rajasthan Royals. So nothing to complain about there. But a team that had such good bowlers is going to be out in the market searching for bowlers again.
Isn't it? That's the one that you look at, right? And say that, okay, it's a bit surprising because they do things that are so analytical, so well thought out. 41 crores to build your entire bowling attack. You're basically at the mercy of others. Of the other teams.
Yeah, look.
Because you can't genuinely go after, you have to have a lot of options going into the auction because anyone you fancy, if one other person fancies that bowler, your chances are short.
Yeah, look, I think again, there'll be more day 2 players than day 1 players. I think late day 1 and day 2 players, the guys with less money are going to sit there and wait for their opportunities out there. But interesting because Dravid is back as coach and he'll bring a particular ethos for it. So he's packed his team with batters up front and reliable Indian batters, a lot of whom with whom he's had a good relationship because he's worked with them personally, so he knows their strengths, their weaknesses. And I think he's going to look at those. Remember, in this last 2, 3, 4 years, India has played and discarded about 15 to 20 fast bowlers. We have used and thrown because we've had so many of them and so many matches being played. So there's a lot of guys out there who Rahul will know a lot more about than you and me, and he'd be looking at it and said, you know what, we might just get this guy fairly cheap on day 2. But yeah, replacing quality of the likes of Ashwin and Bolt and this thing, Chahal doesn't happen that easily.
Yeah, which one of them do you think they'll put the paddle up for? Harsha, we've got Jos Buttler, Chahal, Ashwin, Bolt, all have been fantastic for them. Who do they put the paddle up for, you think?
Because they don't have RTM, right? They've got to buy all of them in the open market. And these are players. Look, Trent Bolt is, in the eyes of some, is coming to the end, but he's still a very good power play bowler. He'll still find a lot of buyers. I suspect they'll build a new bowling lineup. Jos Buttler is the most interesting one. You think of Jos Buttler, you think Rajasthan Royals, right? Something has gone wrong there because if you had told Jos Buttler 14 crores, he would have said, thank you very much. I'll take it every day of the year. Yeah. Instead, they've given those 14 to Dhruv Jurel. The 14 that went to Dhruv Jurel, I was under the impression would go to Jos Buttler. So I don't know if they're going back to Butler. I've heard stories about how they wanted Butler to play the qualifiers last year, the knockouts last year, and suddenly he wasn't available for them, and that was something they were disappointed by. So I don't think they're going back to Butler. They'd very much like to go Chahal, but remember, there's very few wristies going around in the auction. So Chahal will be a much, much valued commodity. Varun Chakravarti is gone, Ravi Bishnoi is gone, Kuldeep Yadav is gone. So there's not a lot going. So Chahal will be much, much valued. So I don't know if they'll be able to afford Chahal. Ashwin is the tricky one. Ashwin liked himself, liked his time there. I don't know whether he want to finish with CSK if that option appears. But yes, they could go Ashwin there as well.
That's
Avesh Khan and the others. They might go back for those quicks.
Yeah, Josh Butler is the interesting one, as Harsha is saying, because there was talk that they wanted to basically, the Royals franchise wanted to just implore him for the whole year to play in their different leagues.
Yeah.
And from then to not be retained here, because it is it's so synonymous, right? Josh Butler and Rajasthan. So for him,
it's interesting you say that, because just recently on social media, I saw this clip of him celebrating in 2017 of the Mumbai team winning. You know, if you remember that 2017 final, where Mumbai was on the rocks against Pune and they just somehow managed to get
125 played 124.
Yeah. And Bumrah saw them through finally. But there's a clip of him celebrating there with Mumbai. And I'm just saying the timing of that clip appearing after, 7 years, suddenly it comes out there in the market. I'm saying, something's happening here. I don't quite know. Don't quite understand.
I wonder who's operating that SEO. Someone is. All right. So, yes, for Rajasthan will be an interesting auction. It always ends up being a very interesting auction for the team that has the most money and the team that has the least money. Because a lot of what they're doing depends on, what others are doing as well. Right? So, Punjab can go after any player, GK, but they know that they can just outbid them. Yes, Harsha?
Yeah. But GK, as kids, when we were going to school, we had less pocket money than some others. There were some rich kids in our school who got a lot of pocket money and who would flaunt their pocket money. And we had to make the most of whatever pocket money we had. But we used it very wisely. Yeah. We used it very wisely because every rupee mattered to us. And I think some of these teams with less money will make some very interesting bargain buys. So, as you said, absolutely correct. Watch out for the guys at the top who've just got money to splurge, and watch out for the Rajasthans and the Mumbais. And remember, over the years, who makes good buys? Who scouts very well? Rajasthan scouts well. Mumbai scouts very well. So watch out for those two teams on that front as well.
Yeah. And as I say, there's this term in hunting. It's called ambush hunting. So say a pride of lions goes. So when you're rich, you have all the money. You're like a pride of lions. You're going to go chase. Lots of you are there. Catch it. When you're a leopard, you're not that big, you're not that strong, you ambush hunt. You're sitting out there, one opportunity appears, you just jump on it. So I think they're going to be ambush hunters. They see a right price, okay, these two teams, somebody is not sure, okay, oh fine, let me put in a bid, let's see what happens. Next bid, it goes up, I'll give it up. Let me just see what happens.
Your favorite ambush buy like this in previous seasons, anything comes to mind?
You put me in a spot. I was
thinking.
Andre Russell, when we picked him up in 2014, was 55 lakhs. Wow. There's somebody there in the end, and Gautam just turned around. Obviously, he's Gautam Gambhir. And he said, a guy who can bowl that fast and hit that hard, he's got to be worth that much. Boom, gone.
Wow.
And he was not in our radar at all.
We?
Sorry, we.
We?
We is...
Oui, yes, in French.
Oui. Saying yes in French. By we he means him and his best buddies, Gautam Gambhir, Shah Rukh Khan, Jay Mehta, Juhi Chawla. That's his best buddies. That's it. It's just his regular Sunday breakfast gang.
Thank you. I don't play paddle with anyone.
I want to start a paddle league. That's my mega prediction. Well, mega predictions. Mega prediction. For the mega auction. Mega prediction. Doesn't seem that mega when I say Shreyas Iyer will go to Punjab. Pant will go to RCB. You're saying Joy Singh Dickock goes to MI. But are you changing that to Butler goes to MI or Dickock? One of them.
One of them. I don't think they'll afford Butler.
So I'm saying my Mumbai predictions are one left arm quick and one opening batter keeper.
You can't go wrong. Yeah? You cannot go wrong. That's not fair.
My player, with Phil Salt, I'm going to add a / Marco Jansen. I'm getting this feeling that Marco Jansen will go for a lot of money. Is he in the second set? What set is he in?
No.
When does he come?
He's slightly further back.
He's coming late. Ooh, that's interesting. That defines a lot of things. Let's show you the big marquee set that's coming up. Sorry, Harsha, we'll go with you. Your mega bold prediction.
As I said, I just have a hunch that will happen. I think Pant will go to RCB and they will celebrate long and hard before the IPL because he's just the kind of player who can lift them. Now, if Pant has captaincy ambitions, I don't know what the conversation with Virat has been. I mean, if Virat says, no, I don't want to go back and do it, then they might just go in and look for Pant and then hope to build a team around there because Pant's going to be around for a long time.
The reason why Harsha is saying that is because with Delhi and what Rishabh has put out on social media, it's very evident that it was about captaincy and some agreement not being reached there because he definitely has captaincy ambitions. So that's why Harsha is saying that if they have spoken to Virat, then they are not bidding for Rishabh. If they are bidding for Rishabh, then it could be, with Rahul has played under Virat, well, as is Rishabh internationally, but in the franchise he's played under Virat. I think KL Rahul would also be okay with the kind of relationship he has.
Absolutely. I think KL Rahul would welcome Virat being there. Virat might turn around and say, look, get Rahul in. He's a good kid. I'll help him. Let me support him. So anything, because that relationship is set in a way that's already there.
Yeah. You're clapping because?
You know what the score is?
500.
12 for 3.
12 for 3.
Australia is 12 for 3. I told you, and India should have just retired from this test match.
Picked up 2 and they've lost a night watchman.
India should have just retired. It's over. This game is over. I thought it would be over earlier because I thought that after the first day, I thought that the curator at Perth was very keen to see the auction and wanted to finish the game off before. But on the second day, he removed all the grass and that took my suspicion away with it as well. That lawnmower basically mowed my suspicion. But yeah, I think this game will be over pretty quickly tomorrow and India will take a 1-0 lead in this 5-game series. But well, anyway, the test game is done now for the day. We're going to talk about the auction. We're going to be here with you today and tomorrow, all day, right up till the end. So put the notifications on your Cricbuzz app and you'll know when we are on again to come and do these little shows in the middle. Just going to show you the marquee set again before we go. The big names that'll get the big money. Everyone's looking forward to that. This is the first set, which is Jos Buttler, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Mitchell Starc, Arshdeep and Kagiso Rabada. So that's one. Okay. This is the most exciting bit. And then set 2 will come right after that. Chahal, Liam Livingston, David Miller, excuse me, Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami and KL Rahul. I love it. This is where all the action is. So we'll come right after these 2 are done. Yeah? So that's what we'll do. Right after these 2 sets are done, we'll come back here live on Cricbuzz Live Auction Special. That's how we name it. Pretty cool, isn't it? Big thank you to Harsha Bhogle, who is in Perth. Perth mein anarth. He's sitting in Perth, doing double shift till 1 o'clock in the morning today. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to... By the way, Joy, do you like the fact that he's already bought this art piece for his hotel room? Or do you think he carries it with him?
I'm not sure whether he's bought the art piece for the hotel room or he's bought this apartment in which this is an art piece.
It must be the apartment then. Yeah. We know that Mr. Bhogle doesn't like living in hotels.
Yeah, girl in every port, he has a flat in every city.
A flat in it. A small apartment in every town he visits.
God, you added that last line. Thank God you added that last line.
Yeah, he did. But the first line is not believable about you anyway. It's very, very good boy, very class topper vibe. But of course, if somebody said that about, let's not say anymore. Especially after you've spoken about your fantasies. Let them not come out. Let me feed you some lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get you chewing so that you don't say too much more. All right, well, that's all we have time for. We're going to scoot out of here. Going to see you in a little bit. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you around.